All right, good morning. It is 10 a.m. It's time to get started, and I'm trying something totally new this week, so we're going to see how it goes. I am broadcasting on a bunch of channels. So actually, we're live on my Twitter, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Twitch. And as soon as I can get approved, we'll try to pump this over to LinkedIn as well. I haven't done this before, though, where I'm trying to push it to a bunch of different channels at once, and we're going to see how this all goes. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So you may be seeing me in weird places, maybe places you haven't seen me before. And the point of this stream, the point of this channel, and what I do here is I spend a whole bunch of time building stuff. Generally, it's stuff related to Alexa, which is somewhat obvious for those of you that know me. And for those of you that don't know me, I work on the Alexa team at Amazon, and my job is to talk with software developers about the coolest, latest, and greatest development tools, technologies, strategies, practices, all that kind of stuff. And so that requires a lot of practice, right? I have to be able to play with our tools and try them and use them and understand exactly how they all work. And so that is what I generally do. But today we're going to change it up a little bit. In addition to doing something a little bit different here on all the places, right? This used to be just a stream that we saw on Twitch. I'm now also trying it on, like I said, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, just to see if it works. Do people engage there? Do they want to chat? Do they want to watch? Because maybe Twitch is just not the thing. So anyway, I have so many windows open now. And as you can see, I have the lights on. Everything's working here behind me. So I think what I want to do is just get right into it, just to kind of start playing and adding some commands to this chat. So the chat bot that we're building only runs on Twitch. So if you're not watching this on Twitch and you want to play with it, you want to participate, you're going to need to jump over to twitch.tv/Jeff Blankenberg. And there you can find this exact same stream, but you can participate in the chat and talk to us and engage and whatever. And so that is, that's the plan. So what I'm going to do is flip over to a view of my screen, which looks like this. There we go. I'm also trying something else different, which is I normally code directly on my Mac, which I have here, and I have a capture device that's set up, and it pulls it into my PC, and I do a bunch of stuff. But you'll notice I actually have Windows Chrome down there at the bottom, and what I'm trying to do this morning is build stuff that is just locally here on this PC without having to get any deeper into it. I need to move these windows around. This is not working for me. Let's try that. And that, okay, that's much better. So happy Monday to everyone. Kevin Evans, I see Startup is here, Major Lift. Glad you guys are here. Yeah. So let me know if you're having any issues. Does this sound different? Does it look different? I'm using a completely different setup. It's the same cameras and layout, but what I'm actually doing is pumping this through a service called StreamYard. And StreamYard allows me to auto stream to a bunch of different platforms. It also allows me to invite guests in. So it becomes a really easy process for me to be able to bring people in, talk with them, interview, do all that. So there's lots of experimenting going on today, including building locally on this machine. So it looks like this font size needs to be a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's see if I can do that. So hopefully that, Kevin Evans, is that font size big enough for you to read? I have so many different windows running that I can't really tell if that's good or not. It looks like it should be big enough, but I want to make sure that it's actually readable for those of you that are watching. And as you can see, I have the bot running here. This is a new one, or an old one maybe, that we've been letting die for too long. And so it's time to bring it back and try to hook this thing into what's going on here locally on the machine, and maybe we can trigger some things to happen. It's you're good, you're on desktop. Yeah, if you're on mobile, it's probably a little tight, but there's not always a lot I can do there. So, okay, so let's talk about a chatbot and what the real structure of this is. So for Twitch, what I'm using is something called TMI, and that's the Twitch Management Interface, I think is what it stands for. But it basically allows me to build a chatbot on Twitch pretty easily. Like it's already running, and this took me about 3 minutes to set up. So you can see I call out and I create a new client, which calls out to TMI. And then I set up a couple of event handlers for myself, one for when a message comes in and one for when we're actually connected. And so you'll see down here that I actually have an onConnected handler function where I just let me know that, hey, this thing is happening and Jeff Blankenbot is fully operational. So what I should actually do here is say client.say, because client is the thing we defined up here at the top. And we're going to say client.say. And the first thing we need is the channel. Well, that's going to be Jeff Blankenberg because that's the channel that we're working on. And then I need the actual message. And the message in this case is going to be this same thing. Jeff Blankenberg is fully operational. Or Jeff Blankenbot, I guess is the right way to say that. So there we go. So we've got that thing running. Now, the thing about this is that I just ran this as a node command. So we're not actually going to see those changes reflected. So what I'm going to do also is stop this service. What is the keystroke? I don't actually know the keystroke for that. We'll have to learn. So we'll come back in here, and this time we're going to say npm run dev. And that failed. It does not like this command, huh? What don't you like? So let's look at my package.json. So we have, this is some stuff that I've brought up from other things. Oh, do I not have nodemon installed? Maybe I don't have nodemon. Oh, how do I, oh, it helps if I type npm right. I think that is our issue right now. Not a new keyboard. In fact, it's just that I'm using the keyboard that is plugged into this PC, which has always been a very clicky, very loud. Let's see if this works now. Still no, huh? What could I be doing wrong that nodemon doesn't want to work? No, I don't normally use this keyboard for all of my typing. I use my Mac, and it doesn't look like nodemon wants to cooperate here. What am I doing wrong that this... Well, let's just go look. Let's kill that. New window. All right, so installing, am I doing something wrong? Let's see if that gets me any more love than I had a second ago. How about now? Still no. Debug is not, oh, I see. So we can see that now it actually sent a message out to the chat. We can say Jeff Blankenbach is fully operational, and it actually shows the little bot icon and everything. So that seems to be working nicely. Okay, and what's nice about this is that it will, every time I make a change to this file now, those changes will be reflected automatically. So let's talk about things we want to do. We have in here a couple of things, right? We have, we're logging out the target, the context, and the message. That's the things that are passed into our onMessage handler. For each message that gets passed into the chat, those are the properties that we'll receive, and then we can use those as we see fit. Context has a lot of data inside of it. Message is just the message itself. Target is just the channel that it came from. And so you can see here that we actually have one that I've left here, which this isn't going to work at all. So let's just get rid of that. and we'll just say balance, just to parrot it back and see that that is working. So if I come into the chat, which is over here, and I say balance, you can see that the bot, I'm logged in with the wrong account. Let's see, I thought I was logged in with the right account. Let's fix that. Log out. I'm logging, so you can't see this, but I'm logging out of my bot account. And what we're going to do instead is log in as the Jeff Blankenberg account so I can post as myself. Log in. Let's try that again. Okay, log in. They're going to send me a lovely text message. Okay. Now we are logged in and we should see different things. So if I say balance again, it replies with balance. And you can see that it's a different account responding. So that's super cool. All right, but we don't actually care about balance because that's not something we're going to build. So let's look at let's see if I can get back into StreamYard. I think I can see. Startup, yeah, I'm on Periscope right now. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitch, and I'm on YouTube. So we're just trying some new stuff today. I figured it's a quiet week with it being American Thanksgiving week. And I thought I'd just see what I could do. Try some new things. So, all right. So let's get into this. So, what are some of the things that we actually want to be able to do? We probably should have a shout out. Command, and in this case, we're going to take. I probably should have like another variable here that is const user equals, and this is going to be context.username. I think it's context.username. We'll find out here in just a moment. And then what if I just say here, instead of balance, do something like user is here. Woo-hoo. Okay, so save that. Come over to chat, and if we say shout out Kevin Evans. Well, that didn't. Oh, because I'm not taking from the message. So that's something else that I'm going to have to grab, is that I have these values. So instead of user, what I actually want it to be is like message array 1. All right, let's see. Shout out major. Cool. Okay, so you can see that I've built basically a simple command that allows me to shout out to someone, and it takes that name and just creates a little shout out for them. So this would be a kind of a cool thing if we start adding data and stuff to this, to be able to say like, hey, somebody's here. They haven't been here in a little while. And they can check in, and when we recognize that they haven't been here in a while, we just have these kinds of things happen automatically. One of the other things that we had in the original version of this bot was sound effects. So let's add another one. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Okay, so for something like sound effect, we did some complex things to make this happen. So what I'm going to actually do is let's go dig into my GitHub. One moment. Again, because I haven't done most of this stuff on this machine before, we're running into a couple of hurdles. And we're in. And what I want is Blankenbot, the original. Let's go look at index and see what we're doing in here. So we had, this was a little more complex back then. Gotten much better at this since then. We had lamp dice, followers, age. This was all logic that I had written for downloading and improving sound effects. Yeah, see, this is the logic that I got really deep into, which was, how do I play a sound effect locally on my machine? And how do I feed that audio in? So this is something that we'll have to get to eventually, but basically I was allowing you to use custom commands with sound effects that we created. And then I was actually just using a sound library to play whatever file was indicated, if it existed. Man, it's been a while since that was there. Well, let's get a dice roller back in there. That's kind of fun. We can add a dice roller to this. I think I have. Copy, and let's get back into code. And let's hold off on the sound effects thing for now. We'll just say dice. Now, what did I do in here? Because I have this commands.dice. So I probably need a folder. And in there, I'm going to need an index file. And we'll also need a dice.js. And then here we can say const dice equals okay, so that is a thing now. And so in here, we can say commands.dice. And I don't know what command args is. That must have been something that I had created in the older version. Let's go look at the GitHub again. What was command args? This is when I was far newer at this, and I was feeling fortunate to get anything to work ever. So we'll need to bring in commands. That makes sense. So that's a thing now. And then what else can we do? We have our commands. We need to be able to call commands.dice. So dice itself doesn't have anything in here. So let's do that. Function dice. I don't know what I'm going to pass in here yet. Let's do something like number. So you can choose, or we'll do sides. Sides. We'll say it's a default of 20 if you don't indicate. And then we need a module that exports here. Wow. All right, so that's our little dice function. In here, now we should be able to call commands.dice, where we pass in a command args or whatever that is. But realistically, I don't need this. And then we need a client.say, where we're going to take the message that we got back and say that they got a dice message. So we have to reply with some kind of dice message from our function. So in dice.js, in here we need to take. Let's see what we did. Were we doing any kind of validation against the numbers? That feels like a thing we should do. So if I go back into my old GitHub here and we look at commands and we look at dice, we can see that I am let sides equal args. Yeah, see, we're using some Lodash stuff. I should probably bring that in. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. So inside dice, we're going to bring in Lodash, but that also means... Why don't I know how to kill this process? On a Mac, I know how. Terminal. Can I stop? I don't actually know how to do that. Hey, Ruyans, good morning. I don't see a way for me to stop the process on a Mac, so we'll just do... I mean, I'm sure there is. I just don't know what the keystroke is. All right, we'll just do a new terminal. And in this case, what we want to do is npm install Lodash. And then we'll get our code ready here. So what we're going to do here is say if sides isn't something, then it equals 20. I guess that takes my default parameter option away. I guess we could still do that. But basically, if you don't give me anything, I'm going to assume that you're saying 20. And now if you gave me something that's not valid, let's do another parameter on here, which is nan. All right. So that will set our default value to 20. Oh, Ruins, I'm glad to hear that you were hanging out with D. Thompson Dev. That's super cool. I'm glad to hear it. He's a fantastic person, and I'm really glad that I got an opportunity to meet him. Okay. So if our value isn't something, then it's 20. Otherwise, if you just give me any number, I'll roll basically it's a random number roller, but you can choose any sides of dice that you would like. And then we had like a we'll say you rolled, return you rolled. Your sides doesn't equal 20. That's a weird. Why did I do that? Having that moment of like, why did I write that code? Return. Oh, I know why I did that. Because let's see, let description. Yeah. So we'll have this function let. We'll just do a 20. Well, helps if you have something like that. And then I suppose we could just do sides like that. And then I'll do it no matter what. And then what we could do is say you rolled a Okay, so now what we have is a dice roller that takes a set of sides. We generate a random number based on that randomization and pass back a sentence that says you rolled a 5. And then I indicate in parentheses with this how many sides you rolled on so that we can see what that is. So then I take that message and I pass it back. Yeah, let's just give this a try. So our chatbot is operational, and now we should be able to say, if I just say dice, we get a very nice error. Command args. Oh, I see. This actually needs to be message array 1. We didn't initialize that variable command args. So let's try that again. You rolled a 14 on a 20-sided die. That's awesome. What if I say dice 12? You rolled a 7 on a 12-sided die. Dice 100. You rolled a 58. It looks like it's working. You guys want to try that? Anybody that's here on the Twitch, you can give that a run and see what you get. I'm also curious to have you try and break it. Ooh, there we go. Ruyan's dice 0. 0. I think we should say we should have another condition in here in our dice. If here, we'll just create a new function. Function is less than 1. If it's not equal to 1, return. I am checking to see if it's a number right here, Ruyans, but that's great. Thank you. And it looks like Kevin Evans threw me an @ symbol, and that also broke it. But if it's, I want not. No, I don't want not. I want, if it's not a number. Oh boy, we broke something now. Return. You can't roll a die with fewer than 2 sides, my friend. Oh, also curly braces. Okay, can't roll it out with fewer than 2 sides. So if I try to pass that back here, though, I'm trying to fiddle this into a message that says, add context username. No, that's fine. No, that actually will work. Okay, so if I say dice 1, roll the 1. Well, because I didn't actually call my function. So let's do that. If all of that stuff is true, I think I don't want to break this out as a function because then I got to do some weird return. So we'll just take that. We'll put it right here. If the sides are less than or equal to 1, then we'll just return that. And then we can just get rid of this little guy. Okay. You can't roll a die with fewer than 2 sides, my friend. So what if I say dice 1? Cool. Okay, so we're getting closer. What other checks can I do on this? If it's not nil or undefined, if it's not empty, what else can I do here? Or dash dot. Well, we could try this. No. What if we say if Lodash dot is number sides, slap a not on there. If it's not a number, then sides equals 20. Does that get me closer to where I want to be? Yeah, Ruins, you and I are together on that one, I think. Dice, Fred. Cool. Dice at symbol. All right. That looks like it's better. I think is number maybe or not is number might be where we're at. We've got a dice roller. So this lets us have little competitions and stuff for people to be able to like basically all roll a die at the same time and see who wins. That's kind of a fun thing to do. What else could we do here? Dice feels like it's baked. It's working. We'll be adding more commands to that. So you guys, Ruyans and Kevin Evans, anybody else, keep trying to break it. I'd like to see you break it now. What it should do is any number less than one or otherwise. Ooh, 8-ball. Kevin, great call. Let's do that. We'll put that one up here. Makes it easier to find these if they're alphabetical. 8-ball. All right. In this 8-ball command, this is where we were just returning a random message from the magic 8-ball, which I don't even seem to have here anymore. That's weird. Where would that have lived? Was it in the Alexa chatbot? I don't remember now. Command 8-ball. Yeah, so we were getting these out of a database, but I think we can make this more manual. So let's just take this and we'll bring it over to a new file inside commands called 8ball.js. And that's going to look like this. Now, we're not going to need Airtable. We're not going to need external. Might need Lodash, but I don't even think we need that. We don't need this to be an async function. And that's fine. We can live with that. We're not going to do this. What we're going to do instead is getting our random item. So Mr. Smoofy's here. Good morning. Also, I just want to share with you. I wanted to talk about this sweatshirt that I'm wearing. I have not been able to wear this sweatshirt for about 6 years. I bought it. I thought it was the right size. It was wrong. I went to return it. They wouldn't take any returns, so I just threw it in the closet. This was embarrassingly small on me even a couple of weeks ago, and it fits very comfortably now. I'm pretty happy with this. In fact, we can see like, boom, like it doesn't stretch. Like there's not a huge belly pushing out the pocket. I can't stop talking about the weight loss. I apologize for that, but it's really working well. So we're almost under 200. The weight loss has definitely slowed down. I lost 21 pounds fast, like in a month, and these last 9 have been a slow grind, which I think I expected. But I really I'd like to lose another 21 pounds every month. That would be amazing. Okay, so back to this code. We want 8-ball text. We're going to return a message that has our 8-ball text. So let me go find the text that we used, and we'll just turn that into like a static array here. So go into Airtable, find whatever bot that was. I don't even remember. Dev tips, scavenger hunt. Maybe this? Data? No. Speech? I don't think it's any of these. Help, fallback, action query. No. So where did I do this? No. Man, it's got to be in here. This is like all the sound effects. Yeah, see, this is more for a skill about me. That's not really what it was either. Where would I have stored this data? Not that, not that. Not that. None of these seem like the right place. What if I deleted it? All right, we'll go find it the more manual way. I think this is where I got it from originally. These are the options. So we'll just take these and we'll build an array around them, and then we'll just randomly grab one out of there. So let's do const responses equals something like that. Let's see how this pastes. Not perfect. Oh, I mean to do that. Still, I've been on a Mac for 4 years. I'm forgetting some of the keystrokes. Just cannot. It's more readable too. Looks like the dice. I like that the dice isn't breaking, but I love that you guys are testing it. Thank you for beating on it a little bit. Almost done. All right, we have Brianna, I'll tell you, based on my experience just with you here on the channel, you're a very good tester. You have a lot of good, unique ideas about how to go about breaking stuff, which is valuable, super valuable. So I'm glad you're here to break my stuff. So let's go look at Airtable like at random speech here real quick and just see what our, do I have a get random right in here? Yeah, let's just take this. This is all I really need. Okay. So let's create a new helper. Just has these two functions. Whoa. Okay. We're gonna have get random. Item is really all I need. All right, so get random item is in there. So that means in here I can bring in helper. That's my little helper library of things like that. And then in the 8-ball function, we'll do the same thing. Okay. In here now we can say get random item, helper dot, helper, we just went through all that work, helper dot get random item, and it's going to be out of responses. Okay, so 8-ball text will then be whichever one of those I picked. And then we'll reply with @username space and then their message. So in here, we should be able to just do something simple like target, and then this is actually going to be 8-ball dot what? No, what commands dot 8-ball commands. Dot 8-ball, and I pass in the. I don't need to pass in the username, so let's get rid of this part. Just do that, and then that means here we can do this kind of thing, or really this kind of thing. I don't need to pass anything in, which means I also don't need any of this. So command, I think I didn't register it yet. Yeah, I need to do that. 8-ball equals, or no, slow down. Not sure why I decided to use that syntax interchangeably. All right, so now I feel like What's up, Jeff Nunn? Good to see you, man. 8-ball. I mean, I think this should work now. Let's try. If I say... Well, it didn't work, but let's... We also didn't get an error. Why didn't we get an error? Oh, because... We should also do something like this. It is certain. It is decidedly so. So now you can pass in your message. You could say something like 8-ball will Kevin at, see if I can fix my monitor. I'm stretching to see it, but will at Kevin Evans have any luck with this one? I can rely on it. Well, that's good. So again, this one doesn't really do anything. So as long as you start with 8-ball with the 8 or with the words, it should do the same thing. And we're passing in, let's look at our logic here just to make sure that we're going to get all the random stuff. We are just calling get random item, and get random item takes from the number of items I provided minus 1, get random. Yeah, so that should all, it should be, you should be able to get any of the answers there. And then we're just responding with our message, and then we say context.username commands 8-ball. We're just giving a response. So it doesn't really matter what you type. Am I a cool dude? So it doesn't seem to really matter what you type, nor should it, because I'm not using any of that information. But if you start the command with exclamation point 8-ball, you now get an 8-ball command. Cool. All right. What else can we do here? I'm very curious about what's going on the other platforms. I don't even know how that all works. Are there people chatting there? Don't know. Are there people watching there? Also don't know. If we look at StreamYard, it looks like all of the chat is coming from Twitch, which I suppose is expected. We got some likes on Facebook. We are definitely broadcasting on YouTube, which is kind of cool. And we're broadcasting on Twitch. This is pretty cool to be able to do this in all the places. I don't know that I'll broadcast all the places all the time, but let me just show you guys here. I'll bring this here. So this is the tool that I'm using, StreamYard. And you can see that I get a unified chat here. So it's all Twitch. You can see everybody's Twitch icons are showing up here. And then if I come over to this and we click on this, this is the Periscope view. And it looks like I can only see messages if I was here when they showed up. But this is where comments would show up on Periscope. Then we have YouTube, and YouTube is happening here. There we go. Jeff Nunn just tested from YouTube. So if I go back to StreamYard, we can see that Jeff Nunn's test from YouTube showed up. Here's the hello from Periscope. This is pretty awesome. And then here, let's try this too. If I'm not sure I wanted to just show that on screen, but let's send a message. And I do a Jeff Nunn message here. See how this works. See how this works. So now I'm going to have to pause all the streams, or at least mute them. That one's muted. That's muted. All right, so let's try this out. StreamYard is set up. And this is the tool that I'm using. Ian Stewart, welcome. Oh yeah, there we go. So then I can hit, so you can see Jeff Nunn has just shown up here. So I'm going to go to a 2-wide, add to stream. Let's see if he turns his camera and his mic on.
Test 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh my goodness. I hear a microphone. I don't see your camera yet. Oh my goodness.
I'm not camera ready.
Oh, you're not camera ready. I did not realize that. Well, I can definitely hear you. And the cool
Give me a couple minutes and I'll jump on.
By using this tool, I can invite people in just as we're live. And so, Jeff, if you and I wanted to have a conversation, I can just send you a link, and boom, we're in a conversation. This is pretty awesome. All right, so that's the one view, and then I can flip back to this, and then I have things set up to be able to do that, and then we can go back to this view. So I'm still using Streamlabs, the OBS tool, to do all of my streaming layout, but now I'm using a virtual camera out of it to be able to bring and compose all of this stuff right into the chat. This is awesome. So like when somebody wins something, I could actually bring them on live and be like, hey man, tell me about what you're working on or whatever. I think that would be, there's Jeff Nunn. Hold on, let me flip back. I think that would be, there's Jeff Nunn. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, let me unmute this. Let's see. Is it working?
It is working. Yeah, I can see you great. I'd love for the audience to tell me if they're able to hear you, but I think they should be able to. Yeah, they can hear and see you great. And I can do all sorts of weird stuff. Like I can flip the view to this, and then I could put some kind of cool background back there like I do with like the Alexa and Friends episodes.
Yeah.
I can make it so that it's me and you're like, I could have other people over here and they'd be smaller. I can even do, there's not a lot of options with just 2 people, but you can see I'm playing with these individual choices and we can just like chat it out.
You don't need Stream Deck either, do you? You're doing it all from the keyboard?
Well, so you can see the options I have here below the screen. Are you guys able to? Oh, you guys aren't able to see that because I'm not sharing my screen. So let me jump back and I'll show you what it looks like. So I have a tool. This is what the tool looks like. And in there, you can see I have these little buttons below. These buttons here.
Yeah.
And so these are the ones that just change the interface between the different things.
This we should be streaming with. I guess you're doing this now. You're streaming with this full time because this is pretty cool.
This is pretty awesome. Well, it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to broadcast on a bunch of places, and it allows me a lot of customization because I feel like more and more the power of this is in the conversations with other people, and so like having you on here infinitely makes it cooler than just me standing here.
I don't know about infinitely, but have you used this for Alexa and Friends? Is that what you've tried?
I've not used it for anything yet. This is my first run this morning.
So, according to Wikipedia,
so I flip over there and we flip to this, get us both back on the screen. No, I haven't used this for anything. I just figured I'd give this a try this morning. And so I think this is the future, man.
I do too. It's really cool.
But this gives us opportunities to do a lot of more creative stuff. The problem with it is to do what I'm doing costs $40 a month.
Well, Well, it might cost Amazon $40 a month now. I think this is totally worth it.
Right. I figured it was worth a pilot.
Yeah.
To see how it works. And so I'll be using this all week. And I think what I'm going to try to do is bring a bunch of people on and like have guests and like have interesting conversations with people. I think that'd be fun to do. Like a lot of our normal viewers, I can just send them a link and boom, they're in. Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty awesome.
Very cool, man. I'm glad you got it set up.
It took a little configuring and figuring out, but I think the other thing I could do is I can add multiple Twitch channels. So I could actually broadcast on the Alexa channel and on my channel at the same time if I wanted to. I think I could do that. I don't know. Things to figure out.
Yeah, I love it. Is there a free tier for this?
There is, but it's pretty limited. I think you can stream to one thing.
Yeah.
Then there's a $20 a month one that is streaming up to 3 things, and then like the full package is $40 a month. But they have like branding, like for the free, you end up with this logo up in the top corner.
Oh yeah, yep. Can you add other screen assets like pictures, bars, things like that, like we do on?
I mean, this seems to be about what you can do here, but because I'm using Streamlabs, like I just set up a virtual camera on there, and then I just say something like this. And this is coming right out of OBS.
Yeah.
So to do any kind of like crazy stuff, you do all that over there and then just set up a virtual camera.
Perfect.
And then drag it all in here. Even get little video clips like this. Wow, and then it jumps right back to this. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think that there's a lot of cool stuff we can do with this. I'll have to find some more video clips and cool things to play with, but
it's a great discovery.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, I am too.
This is what streaming and experimentation is all about. Like, you just have to try stuff and see if it works.
Yeah.
And I was definitely worried that this was not going to work well, but so far it seems to be okay.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I love it. The quick change between scenes. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. That was fun.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for getting all camera ready.
Yeah. Look at this. This is what happens when you wake up 30 minutes before Jeff starts streaming.
Yeah. So I make a rule, at least on Monday mornings, but most mornings, get up and get showered and then get down here and worry about all the rest of the stuff. But
yeah, there
are definitely days that's not the case.
All right, man. I'll see you online.
All right. Thanks, man. Later.
All right. Bye.
All right. That is how I bring guests on. So, man, this is going to be pretty cool. Let's turn their little logo off. But so I can do full customization with this screen however I want in our normal OBS tool, which looks like I'm not sharing that right now. But and then this gives me the ability to add in guests and play around with whatever's going on. I can't even choose these options because I don't have multiple guests. We can even do things like showing display names. So you can see it just turned Jeff on here in the corner. So if I have guests, I could turn that on and then we can see what everybody's name is, even when I'm on like this view. So you can still see, I think there's a way for me to edit my name. So I would probably do something like this. But yeah, that way, as we're talking, I don't have to do any fancy configuring to get people in the right place. I also wonder what the limit is on I think it's 10. I think 10 is the most people that I can bring in as guests at the same time. So all right, so all of that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think this is working nicely. So we'll flip back to that view and we can be done looking at that. So we got an 8-ball working this morning. We got the shout out kind of in a fake way. I probably want to turn this off. I don't need to say that every time I make a change. But I do feel like there's a bunch of other commands that we used to have. We go go back here. These were fun ones to do, like followers. Well, let's just take this. Followers was an easy one to do also. So let's come in here. Followers will go right here, case. Lightning Boy with a follow. Thank you. Target. And in here, we're going to do something. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but let's come into commands, and we're going to say followers.js. That's where this is going to go. We can get rid of a lot of this. We don't need debug right now. Lodash, are we using that? I guess we are. And all of that looks fine. I just need to pass in args. I don't really need to pass in args. So this, I pass in a username, and it's going to go look up the followers. Vital129, thank you for the follow. Man, it's nice to have a few new people here today. Thank you for being here. We're building a little bit of a chatbot today, but a lot of times we spend our time building. I just realized I've gone away from seeing what's going on in StreamYard. I didn't realize that, oh my goodness. I didn't realize that the Visual Studio channel was just going to stop by and drop off a gang. So I'm so glad you guys are all here. Good morning, C# Fritz. We're working on a little bit of a chatbot right now, and I can't seem to get my window to go. There we go. Get that window off the screen so I can see the chat without needing to burden all of you with it. But we're in the process of building a very, very basic Twitch chatbot. So we've added a couple things like 8-ball. So if you just type in this command and ask it a question, it'll tell you what your outcome will be. But in addition to that, we have followers and shout out and dice. And actually, speaking of shout outs, I should definitely give a shout out to C# Fritz, because he is the one that kind of compelled me to investigate StreamYard, which is what we're using today. And we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and Twitch. All awesome stuff, all at the same time. Antonio TR, thank you for the follow. That's kind of where we landed on this StreamYard stuff and why it seems to be working so well. So I want to thank C# Fritz for introducing me to that. The first time I'd really ever used it was during the Live Coders Conference last Thursday. I got to be the MC, and if you guys haven't had an opportunity to watch that yet, I highly recommend it. You can find it on twitch.tv/thelivecoders, and it's one of the most recent videos there. It's about 6 hours long, the whole conference. I was the MC, so I got to introduce and talk to each of the speakers after their sessions. It was fantastic. And I hope we get more opportunities to do things like that, because it was a big, awesome, fun opportunity for me, but it was also, I think it was a really great event for anyone that was there in attendance. So yeah, that's that. Okay, let me flip over, see what we're doing here. So let's get back into actually working on this chatbot. So we have this followers thing. Let's make it do the thing. So we have this nice little website out here. You can take this URL. We'll just take it like this. Bring a browser up, and I can show you how it works. But instead of $username, we can just put in like my name. And you can see that it just brings back, oh my gosh, we're 2 followers away from 600. Pipe and Brock Andre with the follow. We're one away from 600. Who's going to be our 600th follower? that would be fantastic to hit that number today. We're trying to drive towards 1,000, which has been good. Code with Sean, congratulations. The 600th follower of this channel. And if we refresh this, apparently it's not live. I thought this was live data, but the 598 did not change. Or maybe I just lost 2 people. That's always a thing. Screech Rat with the follow. We're trying to get to 1,000, where I promised I would do another ridiculous thing. When we got to 200, when we got to 250, I did an episode as Bob Ross. So the full wig, the whole deal. When we got to 500, I did one as an X-Wing pilot, P2A 2020. Thank you for the follow. I did one as an X-Wing pilot. So I had the helmet and all the stuff. And we haven't come up with what we're going to do for 1,000 yet, but I feel like it needs to be something pretty epic. 1,000 is a lot of followers. There we are, 602 we can see now. So we have made it over 600, everybody. That's something to be celebrated. 602. Awesome. Okay, so that's the URL that we're using. It just gives me a very static number as a return value. And so inside of our code, what we want to do is just pass in the username that someone has provided and say, this person currently has this many followers. So one of the things that I should do, I think there's another one that will tell me, oh my gosh, Copper Beardy with a raid. A complete Star Wars monologue, one-man show. I should act out A New Hope. I should act out A New Hope. Is that what you're saying? All as one person, one-man show with costumes. Okay, so for 1,000 followers, Jeff Nunn thinks that I should cosplay all of the roles from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Man, that's something. I don't know that I could do that by myself, but you know what would be cool, Jeff Nunn? What if instead I had people help me, and we could use StreamYard to split screen people in, and we could that might be something. So I had a beard, Mr. Smoofy. Most of the spring I had one. From like March to almost June, I had a beard, and it just got unbearable. I don't enjoy having hair on my face. I don't enjoy shaving either. Yeah, so now I can dish out the roles. That's exactly right, Ruians. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So we have this little thing here. I don't need this line. I think that's probably sufficient. So we will take this and we'll say, well, we're going to have to add it to our index. So this is followers. We'll need to add it here. Cool. And then in our index, we have helper. Oh, no. So we have commands already. So that means that here I should just be able to say commands dot followers, and we're going to pass in the value that you provided. Let's see if that works. So if I just say followers, broke. Message that starts with is not a function. Where am I doing that? If message commands did I break something? Oh, it's probably this. See if that gets me what I want. There we go. Jeff currently has 603 followers. So I should also be able to say followers, Kevin Evans. Nice. $18,000 followers, C# Fritz. Man, I want to be you when I grow up. That is incredible. Congratulations on that number. All right, our followers command appears to be working now. So now you can check in and see how many followers somebody has. There are some issues with that for sure. Because I'm sure there are many ways to break this. But one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we are here. Doing something like that, so that if people try to use this the way that I expect they will, we should say followers at maybe none. It should still work. Oh yeah, we got to take it out of there too. Okay, so if I say followers at Bob Ross, it says at Bob Ross currently. So I'm ripping that at symbol out if you put it in there, but allowing you to provide it if you'd like to. Okay. Can we have commas in the output? Yeah, there's I got to remember how to do that, but yeah, we can totally do it. JavaScript number format with commas. There we go. Like a no, you don't need all that. There's an easier way. What are you guys doing? To the locale string. That's all. Much easier way. Followers. So we're going to do r dot to locale string. Like that. I think that will solve our problem. Surly Dev, thank you for the tip there. Let's do followers Bob Ross. Here we go. To locale string. What are these people doing? Look at this. Look at the regex and all the stuff that they're doing just to get those commas into the right place. Look at all this. Or you could just say to locale string. I don't know why I would do anything else. So, I mean, the other ones are even voted higher. I'm going to give that I don't want to sign in right now. That's where it's at. Anyway, first reply to that first answer. Yeah, there we go. To locale string, right there. So Surly Dev's got 44 followers. That's pretty cool. Do you need a 45th? I don't know if I'm following you. Followed. You are followed. You now 45. All right. So we're there. We did it. We have streamed now for 75 minutes on StreamYard, and it's going really well. We've had a good audience. I mean, we're not getting a lot of participation from people in the other locations. It's all Twitch, but it works. We had some people run over to those places and try it, and it's definitely working. So it'll be very interesting to see what this means for the future. All right. So we have our followers. There was one more command that I wanted to try while we're in here, and that is age. So let's take this one. This is not your actual age, but what this is a command that lets me know how long you've been on Twitch. So let's create a new command that's called age.js. It's going to look like this. We don't need debug. Don't need this. This is again going to be username. And this doesn't give me a number. This actually gives me a string. So we can just reply as is. So we can save age. We can come in here and say age. Wait commands dot age message array. This needs const age require and we need one here like that. And then age should just get me the data like we just did with the other one. So let's see. Let's see what we get. Been on Twitch for 6 years, 1 month. Wow, I've actually been on Twitch longer than C# Fritz. I wish I'd recognized its potential when I joined, like he did. But man. Darius K808, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let's do one of these. Okay, so Darius K808, glad you're here, man. There's your age. If you type in age, you'll get me. But if you type in age space and then an alias, you'll get whoever you typed in. So if you want to check your own or whatever. Paladin Fox, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Today's been a fantastic follow day. I'm glad you guys are all here. Yeah, you know what? I felt the same way. Code with Sean. Australia and Australian Dahlia. Man, that was hard to Australia. I wanted to say Australian and Dahlia, but it's Australian Dahlia. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I don't remember creating my Twitch account 6 years ago, but I must have done it for something. It was probably something with me and my son so that he could watch some videos of his favorite YouTubers or whatever, our favorite game streamers. Look at that. Darius has been on for 8 years and 6 months. Wow. OG is right. Can we do like a age Twitch dev? The Twitch dev account has only been on for 3 years, 11 months. Is there like an original, like who's age Twitch? 13 years and 6 months. The Twitch alias. Twitch has been around for 13 years? Since 2007? That's amazing. All right, so we had some fun today. We got some chatbot action building. I wonder, we'll have to think about what the other commands that are going to be in here are. But I have a few that like this needs to go away. This isn't ready for prime time yet. And dice needs to move up. And then we're going to have some other commands, right? We're going to have sound effects. what are some of the other things we want to do? I think there's got to be some. Let's just do like. Well, but Twitch was something before it was Twitch, right? Wasn't it like Justin TV or something like that? Or is that a different service? Anyway, I think that's all the gas I got for today. We're 80 minutes into this. We've tried a new service where we're streaming live on a bunch of platforms at once, and I'm very excited to see where this is all going to land. Yeah, it was Justin TV. That's what I thought. So Justin TV started much earlier. There was a dude named Justin that just wanted to live stream his whole day. That's where the idea started, but it's obviously turned into quite a place. Yeah, Surly, that's something that I've been thinking about. I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. We'll see. I thought it was only for partner, and I'm not partner. But I will have to see what happens. We'll find out. All right. So I have my code saved. One of the other things I need to do, I probably need to get with Jeff Nunn, is I've been building these bots, and I run them here locally in my terminal or whatever. And he and I once worked on deploying these out to like an EC2 instance, and I completely forget how to do that. So maybe I'll bring him on one day and we can deploy these things in an easy, meaningful way. In a perfect world, like when I make changes here, it would automatically fix and change the deployment in production someplace else. Netlify is the way to do it? All right, well, Jeff, we should chat about that because I've got like 4 bots now that I want to have in production all the time. And I haven't gotten around to deploying them. So when I want to use them, I just spin them up here. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up for today. We'll see if there's any fallout of me being able to broadcast on all these platforms at once. But with that, I'm going to say thank you to all of you for tuning in today. And we'll be back again tomorrow. I might even stream every day this week. Maybe we'll do some video games and some other stuff Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I'm glad you guys are all here. I'm glad we got a chance to check it out. And we ended this stream with 52 viewers. That's amazing. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern.